Hello there folks, SeKo Starcraft here bringing you a replay, pretty high quality replay. MiaKhalifa, God that's such a funny name, up against VampyWorm. I think I've actually cast some VampyWorm in the past, so Masters level, I don't think VampyWorm had his rank shown during this, but know that he's tippity top as well. Been a while since I've been casting any action. Those people who follow the channel regularly, I apologize. It's been some life happened really fast, and yeah, so no apologies needed, just saying that, yeah, that's what I have to deal with. Anywho, just gonna go through this replay here. ZvP current, pretty sure it's the current patch on this. I mean, we've got Chrono Boost back on the Protoss player here, so we're all good. Man, those changes, the changes happen so fast and so drastic in this game. One day I came in like, oh, we lost mules. Next day come back, oh, they've got a countdown on them. So, you know, things got weird. Regardless, PvZ, haven't casted enough of this or watched enough of it because I really only play a lot of Terran right now. Took so long just to kind of get marginally competent at one race, I decided I'm just going to focus a bit more at that. So, ZvP, that should be a bit of fun. We have both players expanding here pretty fast. This hatch did go down a little bit slower than I would have thought, but hey, whatever. So he's just going to go for a double expansion here before a pool. It's not that crazy in this day and age. You make money so fast, and it's pretty often you can count on your opponent to be expanding as well. So yeah, if you get cheesed, you'll probably just lose. I mean, there's no scouting from the Zerg players, so if it was like a proxy 2-gate, you know, there's some nice ones hiding down here or something like that. You'll be able to come in here and kill everything, and then you probably just lose. Whatever. Take those risks sometimes. Have some fun. And I was looking when I was looking for replays. Time's still open on the right there. People wanted to see the time just to look at builds. When I started looking through a lot of the replays that are available there, I started trying to find ones that are a bit longer. There's so many games, barely even go 10 minutes right now in Legacy of the Void, and that's just because people are still really figuring a lot of stuff out, and they realize the cheese is pretty good in the current meta. Hatch just finishing up. Pool will be finished here in just a second. Same timing as the hatch. Should be able to start firing out 2 or 3 queens right away. On this side, we haven't seen... There we go. I was about to say, why are we not seeing Warp Gate? There's like no builds that don't require Warp Gate. Sometimes you might delay it if you're throwing out, say, a Stargate or something, but that's not the case. Adepts, the bane of my existence, for the cost of an Adept, and that's the mind-blowing thing. Just 25 more gas than, you know, the simple cost of a Zealot. So it's pretty darn cheap. Just destroys light units, so it's way more effective against Terran than you see used against Zerg. Still, I find it to be quite on the devastating side, I guess I'd say. It just kind of destroys face what I run into. Have a handful of lings out right now, just making sure nothing funky happens. Robo's coming out pretty fast. We're starting to take some gases now. 2 queens out, 3 queens on the way. Big queen numbers are very popular. Obviously getting that creep spread in the injects. Once they got rid of injects for a while, that was just weird. That took out such a huge micro element of Zerg that I thought was, you know, disappointing. The creep spread, particularly on bases like this. Warp Prism play is extremely popular right now, so you do not want to get force field out of your base. We'll see if it's an observer coming out right away. That's what I'm going to assume. It'll be an observer first. And then you might look at getting a Warp Prism shortly afterwards. I have myself a pretty good beer right now at the moment. That's the way it goes. I might be getting a phone call right now. I don't know you. I'm going to have to just decline for the time being. And leave me a massage, and I'll get back to you. Lots of gateways going down, so it looks like it'll be a 2-base pressure build here. Kind of what I would expect. That's just... You can do so much with a Protoss player on 2 bases. Let's see what the Zerg player did see here. It ran through with both of its overlords. Sees the timing of the robo. Might even see this Warp Prism jump out here. It's hard to really bank on that happening, but if he does see it, that would be pretty remarkable. Sees the timing of the Warp Gate. Did he? There it is. Let's see if he actually sees that on the way by or not. Observer is coming over here. Speed's almost done. Has to build a ton of overlords. Actually doesn't need to. He actually had a lot of supply opening there. Doesn't he have a Roach Warren or anything? There's his Roach Warren. I'm saying, where is that stuff? He's going to need to start pumping out units, but we see 7 more drones on the way. Little surprised with that. Once again, if he warps in some sentries down here, he might be able to just clobber this base. A lot of gateways are finished up right now. Actually, just 4. I mean, that's not a lot. Sorry to say that's a lot. Queens are in position. Does not want to lose this Warp Prism. It's always a good threat to have around. with 5 queens out. 2 still working on injects. Should be able to keep this at bay. 10 roaches. God, those warp in so fast. Ugh. Anyways, roaches do pretty good against the depths. Just saying. The bases are now all connected with creep. 4 adepts can come out and snipe a queen pretty fast, even though they don't do extra damage against armored. Yeah. 23 versus light. Just blah. And I've actually got to practice with it just so I can get that whole psionic transfer thing down. I've really played with the adepts, not at all. So we're doing some 2v2s recently, and friends say, hey, you want to try Protoss? I'm like, sure, but the one unit that everybody relies on in Protoss, the adept, I have no clue how to use. Should have some Ravagers coming out here. It's a nice way to be able to snipe down some of those Warp Prisms when you don't really have the anti-air. But right now, a lot of LOTV is still revolving around Hydras and getting that Hydra out against Protoss. Looks like a handful of Lynx kind of ran into their death. They did see there was a 3rd base down. I don't think he knows. Yeah, he doesn't know that it's Colossus. Well, it's Colossus tech down, but he's using it to get himself out the Disruptor. With its new changes, kind of firing that Disruptor charge, I kind of like the change. But I actually had a lot of fun playing with the old school Disruptor. They just went in as like a big ticking time bomb. You either got out of the way, or it destroyed a lot. And if you missed, that was an expensive bomb because it was almost certainly going to get sniped. So it was a difficult unit for a lot of people to want to use because it was so expensive, and you almost certainly were going to lose it, no matter what. Which I think that added a little bit of the mystery to it. I mean, you can go in and clear out a mineral line. You could use it as a big time kind of last minute defense to break, you know, an overpowering Zerg player. So that's why I kind of like the Disruptors. 150, 150, a little bit more manageable cost nowadays. A lot cheaper than their Colossus. Colossus just, they ain't cool anymore. They haven't been cool in a long time. More gateways done. 3rd base is finished up. Let's look at the economies here. Pretty good for the Zerg. Could probably use a bit more, but because you blow through these bases so fast, I was going to say, you might as well start looking at getting another one soon. Breaking down these rocks. Upgrades wise, 0-0. Gain 0-0. Upgrades, I'm not going to say they've gotten the shaft in Legacy of the Void, but people really want to get those unit counts up high because that allows you to stay alive. Go put on the pressure and put on the defense, one way or the other. You're just going to be a little bit more secure. The Adept Scout going to fly off here. I don't know if it's going to be able to get far enough to really see anything. No, that's about as far as it's going to get. Creep spread is looking great, but he's spreading creep away from his base. Kind of a problem here. Should be looking to wrap the creep spread around that way. Overlord. May have seen that Adept coming through there. +1 armor is finished. And then it will get smoked. And that's, like I said, not that much more expensive than a Zealot, so throwing away Adepts isn't really the end of the world. Blink, about a 1/3 of the way done, +1. We do see our Zerg player starting to get out all of his upgrades right now. Hydra's on the way. That's so many Ravagers. I'm interested to see how that works out against this kind of army. The splits are going to be very important against the Disruptors. Pew! Let's see if he can pull that off. Warp Prism. He's got 1 still chilling here. Probably could be just leaving it as a threat over around the side of the base. There's no anti-air yet. Spire is on the way along with Dark Shrine. Wow, these guys are just going tech happy. Big move out of Ravagers here. Protoss player may have known this is coming. I don't think he has any observers on this side. Yeah, if we look at his vision. No, he doesn't really know this is coming. But it looks like he would like to maybe expand this way anyways. Oh, kind of bad placement for those Ravager cocoons. Now there's no Hydra here to snipe this observer. There's the Hydras. Sniping that observer. Nice little play. So MiaKhalifa's in a pretty good spot, I must say. I don't mind where the Zerg is at right now. Got out a ton of tech, but it doesn't have any static D, any type of, you know, spines and spores. So this DT tech could really catch him off guard here. Nice little bit of Lings. I don't think he's gotten Hive tech yet. That's a big surprise to me. Vipers are still a big, big deal. Coming in here and yoinking some of this high value equipment, I think, is the way to go. Looks like he's going to lose these, not all of them, just a handful. VampyWorm, going to take control of where this 4th base is going to be. The Zerg player knows all about it, though. Still got the Lings down here. 5th base on the way. Did we get DTs warped in? I don't think I saw any. Yeah, it's 4. Oh, they're with the army. That's weird. Maybe if he was going to make himself some Archons. But I don't know why he's got these sitting around with the army still. It's really not their purpose. I'm going to do some pretty good damage over here. I thought he might want to just throw in a volley from the Ravagers, see if he can grab some units. With that many Ravagers, you might actually be able to put a pretty good hole in that army. 60 damage per shot. Some Corruptors out now as well. Good little thing to be able to help it deal with those Colossus. He does have detection in place. This is where those Ravagers should be kicking in and just shooting stuff on the high ground. He's got the vision with the Observers here. So again, I don't think any of those DTs made it out of the base yet. Yeah, he's turned them into Archons. Looks like he can just come around for another cancel on this base over here. Zerg player maxed out quite easy. Upgrades are on the way. The Protoss player's moving out. We'll see if this goes base tradey. I would be very surprised. The Protoss players are not a good enough position to do that. Forced to cancel everything again. 10 Corruptors. Doesn't have any upgrades for these things yet. No, he doesn't. Might be worth doing that when you've got this much map and this much bank and minerals. You know, maybe get down some static defense. You got the minerals to spend. And maybe think about getting out a couple more of those upgrades. 2-2 going to finish up here pretty quick. I mean, that's nice. This is a pretty sick Protoss army. This is hard to deal with. Oh, good hits. Creep spread's doing really, really solid right now. Should fire some more shots and back away. Really big hits there. Corruptors coming in from the other side. Actually, oh, got at least the Mothership core down. That's a nice pick. Corruptors are coming in, starting to work on the Colossus. Looks like the Zerg is going to take this trade. Loses all of the Colossus at the cost of most of those Corruptors, but I actually don't mind that trade. Once again, the Colossus is very hard to replenish. These Hydras might have been able to poke in the front just to be a bugger, but doesn't want to get run over. He's going to fall back and make sure he's got a pretty good army here. Loving where the Zerg player's at. More DTs getting warped in right now. See if he goes and uses them, or if he's just going to keep making Archons. Bit of a supply block once again. If he had sent out those 4 DTs earlier on, you know, to each of these bases, I actually think he could have really stalled the Zerg player, at least gotten this 4th base down. Been in a bit of a better position. 2-2 finish, 3-3 is on the way. We're starting to see some Immortals coming out now. Kind of like that choice with the kind of tech we're seeing. Ooh, good hits. Really doesn't want to let the Protoss player take another base here. Not launching anything with his Ravagers. Kind of surprised. That's really their point. There we go. A couple of good hits with that. Oh, and the DTs are in here now. That's a problem. Protoss player still kind of just has to sit back and defend. Oh, yeah, I like that. The Brood Lords kind of really got into fashion once again, but he's going to need a lot of detection. I don't know if he noticed that he was getting hacked to pieces by DTs. Well, they're all going to become Archons, so, you know, whatever. So, if the Protoss player can stabilize and get this other base down, might be able to get himself back into this, but these patches almost done. This one is done. This is going weak. Our Zerg player is on 5 bases, hasn't really used this, and probably should consider moving soon. Really oversaturated on some of these bases here. Some idle workers. Stat defense finally getting made here. Maybe he did notice that there were some DTs out. Yeah, lots of stat defense popping all over the place. If it's getting to that late game, you just don't know how your opponent's going to play it. So static defense when you got the minerals to spend, I think is wise. I would love to have seen Vipers. This is a very range-based army. Some blinding clouds I think would work really good. With our Broodlords coming in here, I'm pretty sure our Protoss player is just screwed. If he can sit around this little island bubble here, I think he'll be alright. There is Blink, and these are +2 Stalkers. I think he's getting a little too aggressive with these Broodlords here. At one point, the Protoss player is just going to have to bum rush him. He can't just sit there and get punched in the face over and over again. Loses the Archon. That's a bugger. Great positioning of these Broodlords here, by the way. He might lose a couple on the edge, but they're able to get off a lot of damage. Might lose, yeah, loses another Archon. Ooh, Bubble Burst. Bubble Burst misses. DTs get sniped right away. And this is, yeah, just crushing. Great play out of MiaKhalifa there. I'm pretty sure that is actually the porn star that's playing as that. Anyways, SeKo Starcraft, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you later.